The resolution supporting Dr. Shafi as Vice Chair of the Tarrant County Republican Party. That was passed out in the packet, and let me get to it first. And that is on the floor for a motion.
Standing room. SREC.
Is there a motion?
Just to pass it, can I make a motion to stay?
Is there a motion to
Vote on?
Ashley?
What would you
Someone has to move the resolution for us to discuss it.
Okay, move the resolution.
Ashley Sellers moves the resolution. Okay, so now did you want to speak to your motion?
I'll leave the floor open for.
Okay, the floor is open.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Halverson?
David Halverson, SD 12. I move to table this motion indefinitely.
I'll second that.
So a motion to postpone indefinitely. This is a debatable motion, and I will take alternating discussion. The floor is open to a speaker.
Would you like me to begin?
You can speak to your motion if you wish.
I'd like to, if with the committee's indulgence, I have a document presented by six of the 8 SREC members representing Tarrant County from districts 9, district 10, and district 12, and both SREC members from all those districts. Dear colleagues, Tarrant County is experiencing some intense discussion and debate within our GOP membership, and appreciate the concerns of our colleagues throughout the state. You should have this in front of you. Our own county GOP leadership is engaged in conversations with all concerned parties continually, and ask that you afford us the opportunity to work through our issues within our county. We ask you to respect the will of the voters of Tarrant County who elected each of these executive committee members, and allow us all to work within the framework of the RPT toward our own resolutions. Our county chairman has consulted the state chairman for guidance and is proceeding accordingly. Please table any and all resolutions dealing with Tarrant County at this time. To date, there have been no infractions of local, state, federal, or party rules. Taking action on the possibility of the violation sets a very dangerous precedent. We're grateful for your support and commitment on this issue for Texas, the undersigned. I personally, in bringing up this motion to postpone, is one of the most important things is that, and I can bring up the Montgomery County most recently issue where the county itself came to the party for a dispute. In this case, the Tarrant County party is working through some issues, and granted, these are issues that are strongly felt and strongly being discussed, but the issue here for me, and I believe for my colleagues as we've written, is taking the action of addressing it from the state level. And I understand Dr. Shafi and I are colleagues. We've talked and continue to talk, and I consider us friends. And so my issue here is just the fact that the state party coming in as a resolution to bring a heavy-handed rebuke of a county party who has not done anything, who has not even taken any action. And so my request to you would be to table this resolution with respect to honoring your fellow SREC members and your fellow county parties. We have 254 counties in the state of Texas who need to be able to work through their issues individually, and then if there's a problem, if there's an issue that the state party needs to, an egregious issue that the state party needs to get involved in, based on the action that a county party or county chairman or executive committee has taken, then that would be the appropriate time to do so. So I would ask that we table this resolution indefinitely.
Okay, so we had a speaker in favor of postponing indefinitely. Mr. Bryant, did you want to speak in opposition to postponing indefinitely?
In opposition because of the fact that, look, I understand that this is a sensitive subject because of the technicalities of it. But I've got audio recordings, audio evidence that clearly point, cutthroat, dry as it comes, as discrimination. Now, I'm okay if we amend it. We can water it down. But you're not gonna turn a blind cheek. This man is being discriminated against. I'm not gonna stand for it. We're in the business of winning elections. Now, this man hasn't presented any evidence that would be contrary to our platform. What you have is a witch hunt. And those perpetrating this witch hunt, ask yourself the question, how many of them have sat into a tier 1 intelligence briefing? How many of them spent time in the Middle East? None of them. I think for us to say, table this indefinitely is no different than turning a blind eye. If you see something that's wrong within your county or within your Republican Party, it is your due diligence to take a stand for right. Period.
Is there a speaker in favor of, sorry, did I go ahead? Speaker in favor of the motion to postpone indefinitely? Sam Dalton?
I'm in favor of postponing indefinitely, probably for a number of reasons. One is, thus far I've heard no reason for this to even come before this group. Nobody has said anything about what they have against the individual. I don't even want to hear it. So I speak in favor of tabling it.
Okay, I'm alternating, so is there someone who wants to speak?
Can I give my time to Terry Holcomb? He seems to want to say.
So Terry is an SREC member. If there's no objection, we'll hear from our colleague, Mr. Holcomb.
Thank you. Committee members, this may be one of the most important votes you take. I'm certainly going to speak. I'm going to ask you not to table this. This would be the greatest travesty that this SREC ever performed, and maybe any SREC in past history. A statement was made that a rule hadn't been broken. That is not true. Rule number 3 has been broken, where a member of the Republican Party or an executive committee shall not discriminate in any meeting. And we have clear evidence that an individual is being discriminated against simply based on his religion. If we are not going to stand up against this, we will censure a state rep. We will go after a county chair that is misbehaving, but we are not going to stand up for a founding principle that is in our principles, that is in our platform, that is in a legislative priority and in our founding constitution. And the very reason our founding fathers came to this country was to worship freely. And we have an executive committee members that are targeting someone specifically for this religion. If this state party doesn't speak on this, then we don't deserve to be the Republican Party. That is a travesty to say that we are not going to speak out against such a bold, blatant attack on the core values that we believe. I can't even believe that we're entertaining the idea of tabling such a thing, because we would never table this if someone was out there supporting killing babies. This body would speak out vehemently. We will speak out on the Alamo, a building, and we won't speak out on a core principle. We have a member of the Republican Party, by every stretch of the imagination, that should not even be in the Republican Party, violating our core principles. We are duty bound. We are duty bound to speak on this issue. And here's one thing I can tell you: remain silent, and the media is going to speak for you, and we will continue to lose elections. Thank you.
Okay, there's a whole bunch of people who have asked to be recognized. I'm going to take them in this order because this was the order that I saw them. So Debbie Terry first, and then Tripp Bryant, and then Britton Brooks. So Debbie Terry first.
If you're limiting the discussion at this point forward only to those 3, I defer to Susan if you will allow us both to speak.
So Susan Wright, member of the SREC, as Mr. Holcomb, is there any objection to having Susan? Susan, go ahead.
Good afternoon, committee members. I appreciate where you are. I'm sorry, Susan Wright, SD10. I'm in Tarrant County. My entire district is. I was on this committee last time, so I feel the pain. I rise in support of tabling this particular motion, and here's the reason why. I could not support Terry's arguments anymore. I agree with every one of them. I agree with the travesty of the conversation happening in Tarrant County. I agree with the actions, but I ask you to please focus on the rules that we govern ourselves by. And yes, there are individuals whose behavior is in violation of Rule 3, but focus on this, it is the individuals whose whose behavior is in violation. Our executive committee has not taken action. Our chairman has asked to work with our state chairman to work through some issues that we have on process, procedure, and some of our own internal rules, and they're working through that. We ask you to please grant us the respect and the dignity to work through our own problems. I could not agree with you more that this is sloppy. I could not agree with you more that it is distasteful. And Dr. Shafi, it hurts my heart for what you've had to go through. I admire you and I respect you for the dignity and the class that you've shown through all of this. But for this body to take a procedural action against an executive committee, another body of our own membership, for an action that we have not taken yet, sets a very, very, very wrong-headed precedent. I believe that we can, as a party, make a very positive statement to reaffirm our commitment to Rule 3. I believe that would be just as forceful and have the same impact. But to actually rebuke our county party when we haven't officially broken anything yet because some people are behaving badly, I believe punishes our entire executive committee for something that we have not done. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your consideration.
Okay, I said I would recognize Tripp and then Brittany.
Mr. Chairman? Tripp, you've spoken already against the.
Did you have a different motion or a?
Well, what I'm proposing is that if you want to water it down, you want to remove the county, you want to remove the name, we can negotiate that. But if you're just going to go right at the extreme turn of tabling indefinitely, I can tell you right now, then I'm going to fight tooth and nail to keep every bit we've got in there. Now, if you want to meet in the negotiating table, we'll negotiate. But don't turn your cheek on us. You simply want to table it indefinitely, since you're condoning in the behavior.
No,
I
disagree.
Committee members, let's remember that parliamentary decorum. Let's keep the second person references. Let's remain in third person. And Tripp, I'll let you.
I'm going to play an audio clip.
Is there do I hear a motion to play an audio clip?
I move that we can hear what has been drug along. January will be the third CEC meeting that this has been drug along. It's nothing new. It's not like we're jumping in on something that's brand new. He's been being dragged through the mud. This is now for the third CEC. They don't meet monthly. What you're about to hear would be what has been going on and give you an idea of what has happened.
Hold on a second. Since this isn't a member testifying directly, I think this would require a motion of the body to hear the audio. So
motion to hear. Okay, Mr. Chairman, though, I would like to sit there. No, I don't think anybody on either side of tabling the issue or voting on it in any way, shape, or form condones this racist / anti-religious rhetoric that's going on. I don't think anyone in this room probably feels that that's right. I am sorry, sir, that by God, I'll just say it straight up, that you're having to go through this. It's shameful, okay? I don't know why anyone would take that position, okay, in the first place. I don't think anybody, by tabling it, I think the answer is that this is
when you table it.
No, what you tell him.
no. What I'm saying is, with all due respect, by tabling it, I think what they're saying is that it's being handled at the lower level. Why are we going to sit there and not support? You know, maybe it's the military man in me. I handle things at the lowest level possible, okay? And to let them clean up the act. I'm not saying that at the state level that we condone in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I'm absolutely rejecting that by saying table this forevermore, because this should never even have raised to this level. It shouldn't have.
Okay, so hold on,
been-
so there's a higher ranking motion that you've made.
Can I say it out loud? My motion.
Does
The
this
actual
motion
motion.
supersede the motion
Can
that
I-
you've just made?
It's the motion to play a 20-second
So
audio.
this is the
clip.
motion on the floor.
20 seconds.
There's a motion to play audio, and I
Point
will,
of information,
yes, ma'am.
is this audio from an executive committee
No.
meeting?
No.
It's a personal interview with somebody, so it wasn't in an official capacity,
No.
it was you talking to some
So as
particular person.
as part of the debate, if the committee would like to hear the audio, there's a motion on the floor to hear the audio. Britton, did you have an interrupting motion?
I'm not in motion, but a discussion on the audio whenever it's appropriate.
Okay,
sir.
so this is the motion on the floor. I think you've
We'll play
spoken
a
on the,
20-second clip.
you've spoken on the motion. Britton, did you want to speak on the motion?
Let this be the lawyer and me. I would suggest not playing this out loud right now. I think it'll be a
Yes.
mistake. I do know, we all know what it says, and we've all heard that, a version of that. I think it'd be a mistake to play that out loud right now, in my opinion. I don't think it gets us, we all agree
Do
that.
you really wanna feed the flames
Yes,
of the
I-
Democratic Party and
I-
the press
right,
to
we-
sit there and play
Tabling this
something that
would
we
feed the
don't?
Well,
flames.
Well, and I'd like to speak on that as well, when it's my turn, sir. So first let's-
Linda, and then we'll,
I need a vote.
Where did this audio take place? I just heard a bit,
Is it
bits
telephone
and pieces that it
so I'll allow
did
the,
not happen during an executive committee meeting.
I'll allow the member to answer the question from the other member about, the source of the audio. Go
The
ahead.
source of the audio was that there were some things that was published from this individual named Hillary O'Brien. I called her directly and confronted her, requesting for whatever evidence that she was alleging. Because I wanted to see the evidence. I wanted to see the validity of the evidence. And within the scope of that conversation, it was documented audio of her blatantly admitting that it was the whole motive behind this was driven solely because he's Muslim.
And we believe that, but I'm saying it's a dire mistake to play that audio right now, folks. Listen, we're being live streamed. Don't play that audio. I'm telling
You know
you.
what?
Ms. Kinney, did that answer your question?
No. So, my question is, does this have anything to do with a Republican Party of Texas meeting that took place?
And I'll allow the member to answer that question.
It wasn't during
It's
the
a
meeting.
telephone.
That's
It was not doing, and if that's the only reason we're afraid of the stream, then I would move that we do it 20 seconds of executive session, if you're so, if you can count the stream for 20 seconds. But it's everything that you would hear, you can see publicly.
Are you making a motion?
Not really, I was just,
Trip, did you have an interrupting motion?
Yes, okay. I can understand completely. And I'm
Was
okay.
is this a motion, Trip, or is this discussion on the motion?
Discussing on the motion.
Need to
I'm
address
okay.
Need to
I,
address
I,
the
and I
chair.
see- I see your point about not wanting to play the video, and I'm perfectly fine with that. As long as you change your stance,
Mr. Chairman,
individual right here,
Mr.
change
Halverson?
interrupted motion. I believe all members should be addressing the chair during the.
Thank you. I'll remind the members to address the chair and not the other members. And I'll allow Mr. Bryant to finish.
I'm okay with not playing this video, because I understand the audio, the effect that it could have, and it will have. But if we're simply gonna table this indefinitely, I'm perfectly fine watering it down to the level needed. We can remove names and
withdraw the
identity.
motion.
Mr. Casillas?
Yeah, this is a recommendation to that motion, because there's been discussion that we need to allow Tarrant County to act. Let's not table it indefinitely, let's table it till next meeting, quarterly meeting, so that Tarrant County will have opportunity to correct whatever, and that'll give us, that'll resolve this problem right now, and we can move on.
So I'll remind the committee that the motion on the floor is a request to play audio, and, are you ready for a vote on a motion?
I'll call the vote.
There's a request to withdraw the motion since the motion is before the body. Is there any objection to withdrawing the motion?
No.
Then the motion is withdrawn. So the motion before the body now is the resolution. So we're, excuse me, on the motion to postpone indefinitely. And I believe I took it against, although we did get, onto the subsidiary issue. Is there a,
How do you amend a motion to postpone?
I think you can amend a motion to postpone indefinitely if there's a time certain.
Okay.
Excuse me, can I make a comment about, I heard something
Could you
about.
identify yourself, sir?
Sir, about our forefathers, they came to this country.
Sir,
And they
what
came-
was
Yes,
your name?
My name is, Chester Copel.
Is there any objection to having Mr. Kokel speak for a period of,
Who's Mr. Coble?
What position?
What is his relevance to this issue?
What?
sir, could you tell us your position? And then I'll have to ask for permission to allow you to speak further, so. To identify yourself?
Yes, my name is Chester Copel from, SC13. I'm a latecomer to this, but I wanted to mention that our forefathers came to this country to worship the living
Did
God.
the committee want to hear from Mr. Kokel
Who is Mr. Coble?
in our limited amount of time?
What is his expertise or capacity to
Or
inform
did
us
a
on this
member
issue?
want to ask for permission for Mr. Kokel to speak? Okay, hearing none, the motion on the floor, I believe, is the motion to postpone indefinitely. And, there is a motion to amend, Ms. Kinney?
Can we amend it to time certain to allow, the chairman to,
Roberts, if my Roberts is, I might need some parliamentary, I believe a motion to postpone indefinitely is not amendable.
You can offer a friendly amendment.
It would have to be withdrawn without
property.
objection, since we're in formal consideration. Today has been very formal, so, Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Chairman, I think, I see both sides of this issue very, very clearly, and I think most of us are in agreement. On one hand, we cannot be silent on this issue. We just can't be. It's, as much as I would like this not to even happen in the first place, it's out in the national media now. With that said, who are we to impede on Tarrant County's ability? They have yet, as an official group, to make any violations whatsoever. If Tarrant County comes to us and asks to keep it in-house, I think we need to let them. So what we need to do is find a compromise to where we do take a voice on this. We take a loud action against racism on behalf of the good doctor, but we do not single out Tarrant County whatsoever. And if we have to remove names, I think we should. But I think Tarrant County needs to be allowed to govern themselves, and they have not broken any rules yet. And so we are saying, well, in case you break a rule, and then we're coming down with a strong hand on that. And so I would suggest as a body that we find a compromise. We take a loud voice without putting Tarrant County in our crossfire.
Let me hear from Ms. Winter, and I think Ms. Wise, one of the original authors, wanted to speak with the body's permission. So let me go to Ms. Winter and then Ms. Wise.
Point of order, if we, postpone this indefinitely, as he suggested, then couldn't it be, if there were an issue later on down the way, couldn't a new resolution be brought forward?
Exactly.
Certainly, and my understanding from the Rules Committee action this morning is some of the stuff that was discussed is perhaps being postponed indefinitely. Apparently that could be brought up at the very next meeting because it's a committee. It's not that. I believe there are avenues for that if that is the committee so desires. Let me go to Ms. Wise because she made a request. There's no objection to hearing from her.
None.
And then did you want to speak? Okay, so Summer and then Debbie.
Hi, thanks for allowing me to speak. So, a couple points I just want to bring up since I know not everybody has been following this issue full time. This is already out in the media. It's in the national press. It's been covered by the AP, Huffington Post. Star Telegram is doing an article about this nearly daily now, and has been for weeks. George P. Bush just tweeted about it today, urging our body to support this resolution. The Texas Tribune has published this resolution. Our chairman will be writing, or may be writing an op-ed piece after our meeting about this issue. It's out there. We can stand by our chairman And, you know, back him up in what he has to say. You know, we can stand by those who support Tarrant County supporting Dr. Shafi and say, hey, we've got your backs by supporting this resolution, and we've got everybody else's back who believes in religious freedom. Or we can remain silent, and the media narrative is going to be, if we remain silent, that we support Dr. Shafi's removal. There's no in between. Media is binary.
That is true.
Let's take Ms. Terry and then.
That's all I had time up. I had one more thing to add.
Go ahead and finish, please.
All right. One other concern that we have is if we wait until Tarrant County makes a decision on this, if they do decide to remove Dr. Shafi, we have to worry about legal implications there. If we can encourage them to make the right decision, we may be able to neutralize that possibility.
And the chair notes that we went from winter to summer.
That was fast.
I appreciate the heart of everybody in here. We're not as far apart. We're not far apart on this at all.
No.
I believe it was Monday. Dr. Shafi, was it 2 weeks ago? We met at Riata Restaurant.
That's correct.
Dr. Shafi and Darrell Easton and the people that are here, except our new first lady of 6th District in Congress. And Dr. Shafi wanted to know our opinion on this, that this resolution was coming up, and wanted to know what we had to say about this. And I want you to know, to the person of these signatories on this, we have the greatest respect for Dr. Shafi. We don't expect ill will to come to him at all. We support him. So we're not on opposite sides of this. Our question on the table that day is what is in the best interest of our party, our state party, and Tarrant County Executive Committee. And we all have different opinions, but at the end of the day, we all seem to agree, I believe, Dr. Shafi, that it would be in the best interest of those entities for us not to add fuel to the fire and not make this a bigger deal than it is. And so that was, am I wrong? Is that not how?
And let's restrict remarks to the chair.
Okay, remarks to the chair. Nevertheless, I just want you to know these people are committed to interfacing with the precinct chairman of Tarrant County to get this right. We're not going away. We believe in Dr. Shafi. We're his friends. Just don't cast aspersions on a county that's done nothing wrong yet. Give us the freedom to fix our own house and then move forward together.
The chair will recognize someone who hasn't spoken yet on the issue who wishes to speak. If there's anyone, before we return to people, I do note that it's 2:56 p.m., so there is other business on the agenda. If people are ready to proceed toward a vote. Any objection to having Ms. Graham speak on the motion?
No objection.
Ms. Graham?
Thank you very much. No, time is tight. I'm a little concerned that perhaps we're discussing different things. This was written to support the Tarrant County CEC and affirm that they have taken appropriate action by supporting Dr. Shafi and encourage them to continue to do so. There's no rebuke. This isn't a censure. I've heard that word used several times, but the language isn't in there, and neither is it an action document. In fact, let's see, we therefore be it resolved, we strongly encourage the Tarrant County Republican Party to continue to support him. Be it resolved that this document be shared with them, right, as is standard with most resolutions. Okay. Now, the last one is that we encourage all CECs and Republican organizations to advocate and adhere to our platform planks. Nothing controversial there. Had this been something that had stayed in-house in Tarrant without certain people going to the national media in order to fuel this, trying to get this gentleman removed forcefully, then we'd be able to say, let's let them handle it as a private matter. But it's no longer a private matter. And these ladies, some of whom I know pretty well, from platform, aren't handling this privately as well. Silence is seen as concurrence. And in the absence of any sort of affirmative language, which is what this is, it's not a review, there's nothing, in fact, everything is saying that the Tarrant County Republican Party has done the right thing. And we support them and we will stand with them as they continue to do it. It is not a review.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Halverson?
may I propose an amendment or a substitution?
The motion is, I do not believe is amendable. The
Okay.
motion before on the floor is a motion to postpone indefinitely.
You can
You
pull
withdraw?
your own.
Okay, well, withdraw and.
So there was a request to, was it was your
Yes,
original
it was.
motion?
Yes.
That's why I'm saying.
Is there any objection to the withdrawal of the motion? It would have to be done without objection. Okay,
Withdrawn.
hearing no objection, the motion is withdrawn. Mr.
Like to
Halverson?
make a motion, please?
You have the floor, Mr. Halverson.
And it'll be on the fly. The Republican Party of Texas affirms
Is this gonna be a new
well,
resolution?
this is a new resolution. This is a new resolution. So, the Republican Party of Texas affirms its commitment to Article 3, was it? Rule 3 of the Republican Party of Texas rules, and then state the rule.
Republican Party of Texas, so this is a motion to amend by substitution, correct?
Yeah.
And can you see if the,
Okay.
to Republican Party of Texas,
Rule number 3, which states, and stated,
someone have Rule 3 handy?
Do you want me to copy and paste it to you?
Is it okay if I just read it for time's sake here, and
Yeah,
we'll
that's
add
fine.
it later?
Roger.
Rule number 3, discrimination prohibited, participation in any Republican convention or meeting, including but not limited to any primary caucus, any meeting or convention held for the purposes of selecting delegates to a county, district, state, or national convention, shall in no way be abridged for reason of sex, age, race, religion, color, or national origin. And did you want to include all of that, Mr. Halverson,
yeah,
in your?
yeah. Let's do that, and then, we can begin that with a whereas, and then,
Right.
then be it resolved. Be it therefore resolved.
No, therefore, and I have discretion from, give your permission to
Have at it.
turn it into.
Yeah.
Roger.
Do as you must.
Talk to me.
The State Republican Executive Committee
I'll fix that later.
yeah, encourages all county executive committees to follow the rules of the Republican Party of Texas when it comes to participation.
Related to?
Related to participation in meetings and conventions. Help me out, somebody. Meetings and conventions.
Normally I'd be for informal wordsmithing, but we're very formal today, so let's, I'll let you make the motion.
Meetings and conventions.
Do you have a title for your resolution? Hold on, let me let Mr. Halverson.
Support
On support,
of non-discrimination.
is that hyphenated?
Yeah. In Republican
party
in
affairs.
Republican meetings, or just support
put by the Republican Party.
non-discrimination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the ladies like
So
that. Leave it like that.
does the motion on the screen reflect your will? So we
Yes,
can-
let's go ahead and just, send, and, be it therefore further resolved. And a copy of this resolution. Be forwarded to all Republican county chairs in the state of Texas.
Okay.
Okay?
Motion is before the body.
Second.
So this is a motion to substitute. No second is required. Mr. Bryant, you had a
Suggestion.
we'll make it an amendment.
Verbiage, include, somewhere we include, also to include appointed positions.
You gotta be more specific than that, Mr. Bryant.
Mr.
Mr.
Point of order.
Halverson.
That the rule specifies conventions and meetings.
Say again, I'm sorry.
So
The
Mr.
rule-
Halverson says that the rule cites conventions and meetings. So is there an amendment, is there a specific amendment to the
The
motion
rule
to
doesn't,
substitute?
the rule does not mention appointed or elected positions.
Okay,
And we're
any,
citing the
any
rule.
discussion on the motion on the floor, which is the motion to substitute the following for the original motion? Are you ready for the question? The question is on the motion to substitute. All those in favor of the motion to substitute indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Let's do it by a show of hands. All those in favor of motion to substitute, raise hands. All those, and I'm not counting, I'm just seeing hands, and those opposed. And the motion passes. The resolution is substituted. The motion on the floor now is on adoption of the resolution as substituted. Any discussion on the motion?
What was the motion again?
On the motion as substituted. On the resolution on the screen. And if there's no objection, the citation to Rule 3 will start with the words discrimination prohibited and end with the words national origin. I'm not including rule number 3 redundantly in there, unless there's objection. Okay, are we ready for the question? Oh, a question from a member, an SREC member is, did someone want to clarify that we encourage all Republican county executive committees and not Democrat or other party executive committees? Is there any objection to that?
No objection.
Any
No
other
objection.
last second clarifications before we proceed to final vote? Okay, the motion before you is on the screen. We'll take a vote.
Mr. Chairman, do we want to say
Mr. Holmes?
Texas Republican? It's up to y'all.
Does anyone want to include that?
Well-
If not, we'll leave it off.
Yeah, it's already got
Texas is-
state
it's
Republican
implied.
executive
Texas.
committee.
It's implied.
Republican Party of Texas affirmed.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you,
okay.
Mr.
Good
Halverson.
enough.
Any- Mr.
As
Bryant?
a point of regard, is there any way we can address any appointments? The position of being an appointment?
If you have an amendment relative to that, I will hear the amendment. If you need a second, I'll go to Ms. Winter.
Or is he appointed? He's appointed. Oh, I see what he's saying.
Sure, and waiting on Mr. Bryant, I'll recognize Ms. Winter.
I would just like to clarify that once you're appointed, you are a member of the executive committee. So you're already a member, if you're appointed, whether you're elected
It
or
may in
appointed
fact,
in terms.
it may in fact depend on the specific roles of the county party in question, so. So I don't have an answer to that. Mr. Dunham, quickly.
Right, all I would do is, if it says we're talking about, meetings and conventions, the chairman has that ability to sit there and make those appointments already in that. So I'm not really sure why we would need to further emphasize that. I think it's pretty basic already in there.
I'll go to Mr. Bryant and then Ms. Leo.
I have an amendment, be it further resolved.
Where would you put this, please?
Down below.
Below the copy or above the copy?
Just copy paste that right
Minus
there.
the
Just
second.
minus the.
Okay, so you're cutting this one and inserting it.
Down below, the very end, very end.
I think it'd probably be better here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because that one's a good copy.
And what are you
you're going to
doing
take out
also
the county,
teaching?
right?
Take out Tarrant County.
So who are you calling? Calling for?
CEC.
Calls for all
Republican
Republican
organizations.
All Republican
Is the
executive
assumption
committees.
that we
Calls for all-
Hold on, one at a time, please.
Okay.
You have the floor.
It-
Is that what?
Aren't we already saying that though?
Yeah, if we're.
No, we're
Well,
asking.
My question is, how did you take this as a confusion, as you've already said this, because you haven't?
Well, the title is non-discrimination, isn't that what Rule 3 is about? Rule 3 is about non-discrimination.
Platform planks, this is platform planks,
Maybe
not,
you need, maybe.
no,
you
this
need to-
isn't rules, this is platform planks,
This
preserving
includes
religious
platform
liberty
planks
for all
also.
Americans.
So covering all spectrums.
Yeah, I think rule is cited in the beginning and planks are cited in the amendment. Any discussion, and it's 309, ladies and gentlemen, is there any discussion on the amendment? All right, hearing none, the motion on the floor is the amendment underlined. All those in favor, respond by,
Aye.
you have an
No, I was gonna just say, aye, my friend,
All right,
No.
so let's proceed to a vote. Last call on anything else. Okay, all those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Those say no.
No,
Motion passes. Now we proceed to the motion to the resolution as substituted and as amended. Is there any discussion? Ms. Leo?
I would like to amend it to include the wording in the first two whereases.
Of the original.
Of the original thing?
Of the original.
Where are you putting those, Ms. Leo?
I think the first whereas can go second.
Okay, well, with all,
And then you can again take out the word Tarrant.
you wanna leave the doctor's name in there?
So
Is
you're,
that your intent?
can you see the screen? Does this reflect your motion?
Okay, hang on. Yeah, you can take that second whereas out.
Yours
Okay.
underlined second?
Right,
Okay,
right.
Yes, take it out.
You're
Thank
removing
you.
that.
Thank
Right, and
Jesus.
put that other one second, yeah, the first one second,
Okay, so this is your motion.
yes.
So the motion on the floor is the motion to add the underlined whereas clause. Ms. Leo, did you want to speak to your motion?
No, I think it speaks for itself.
Ms. Terry, did you want to speak to the motion?
This might sound silly, but this might be a friendly one, Terry, that
Okay.
recognize the contributions of Republicans of every faith. Never mind, I renewed that.
Okay, no motion. Any other discussion? So the motion is to add the paragraph underlined. We'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of adding the paragraph say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Proceed to vote on the motion as amended. Any further discussion? Last call.
I'll make that motion.
So it's on the floor. It's there waiting for us.
Call the vote.
All right, we'll proceed to a vote on the motion as substituted and amended. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion carries, and we will proceed to the next item of new business. We have